Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Melissa and I'm here today with my second Sunday Salon video for you. If you don't know what the Sunday Salon is, I will have a link below in the show notes to my introductory video talking about the Sunday Salon. Basic first one last week, and I don't know whether I'll do one of these every single Sunday. Some of these, I don't feel like I have all that much to say. This happens to be one of those kind of weeks, but as I was putting together an outline of what I wanted to talk about, I probably have more than I thought I did. So let's get right into it. This week was a pretty good week, although most of it I wasn't feeling 100%, just like some stomach woes and whatnot, but we're not here to talk about that. But was feeling a little bit under the weather for most of the week, so I didn't really get all that much reading done. What I did finish, I finished Long Time Coming, Reckoning with Race in America by Michael Eric Dyson. I think that this I had predicted last week that this would probably be my first 5-star read of the year. I'm probably going to give it more of like a 4.5, and I think that the reason why is because there were some. It's incredibly well written. It is so well written, and I feel like this is a book that should be required reading for a lot of people. I have not seen this on too many of the anti-racism book lists that have been circulating around, but I do think it is fairly new. So it was written actually in response to the George Floyd murder of George Floyd back in May, and the way that this is structured, the way that Michael Eric Dyson structures this book, it is as a series of letters to several Black martyrs. He includes them here in at the end pages. So it is a letter to separate letters. So it's like 7 separate ones. To Elijah McClain, Emma Till, Eric Gardner, Breonna Taylor, Hadia Pendleton, Sandra Bland, and the Reverend Clementa Pinckney. And like I said, the way what he does through his letters to each of these individuals is he talks about the history of racism in America. In the case of Emmett Till, the connections, like the how things were, back when he was murdered, but as opposed to what it is today, and how so much has not changed and what has changed. It's really well done. There is one section that I did want to talk about. I should say too that the chapters are divided into the prelude is Gold Orb, and that is the letter to Elijah McClain. Black Death is Emmett Till. Blue Plague is Eric Gardner. White Theft is Breonna Taylor. Seeing Red is Hadia Pendleton, and White Comfort is Sandra Bland, and the Post-Salute Evergreen Hope is Reverend Clementa Pinckney. But I do want to talk about one thing in the chapter on Blue Plague. This is the letter that's addressed to Eric Gardner. And I think that this is important because he mentions other people who have also lost their lives to police brutality. In Oregon in 2003, Kendra James, a mother of 2, was killed after a cop put a gun to her head inside a car during a traffic stop. A woman, Katherine Johnston, a 92-year-old Black woman from Atlanta, Georgia, was killed in 2006 by undercover cops during yet another botched drug raid. In 2008, during a raid in Lima, Ohio, that targeted her boyfriend, who was suspected of being a drug dealer. 26-year-old Tarika Wilson, sheltering in her bedroom with her 6 children, was killed when a cop shot blindly into the room. And he goes on to say, In the last decade alone, besides you, Brother Eric, and others I mentioned, the names of the lost are legion. And I just wanted to take a moment here on my channel to kind of recognize the people that he mentions. And apologies in advance if I mispronounce any of the names. Rakia Boyd, John Crawford III, Ezell Ford, Dante Parker, Michelle Cusseau, Tanisha Anderson, Akai Gurley, Rumain Brisbane, Jerame Reed, George Mann, Matthew Ajabad, Frank Smart, Natasha McKenna, Tony Robinson, Anthony Hill, Maya Hall, Philip White, Eric Harris, William Chapman II, Alexia Christian, Brendan Glenn, Victor Manuel LaRosa, Jonathan Sanders, Freddie Gray, Freddie Blue, Joseph Mann, Salvado Ellswood, Sandra Bland, Danroy Henry, Albert Joseph Davis, Darius Stewart, Bill Ray Davis, Samuel Dubus, Michael Sabi, Brian Keith Day, Christian Taylor, Troy Robinson, Isham Farah Manley, Felix Kumi, Keith Harrison McLeod, Junior Prosper, Lamontes Jones, Patterson Brown, Dominic Hutchinson, Anthony Ashford, Alonzo Smith, Tyree Crawford, India Kager, Levante Biggs, Michael Lee Marshall, Jamar Clark, Richard Perkins, Nathaniel Harris Pickett, Benny Lee Tigner, Miguel Espinal, Michael Noel, Kevin Matthews, Betty Jones, Quintonio Legier, Keith Childress Jr., Janet Wilson, Randy Nelson, Latroni Scott, Wendell Celestine, David Joseph, Keelan Rockmore, Dejon Parkins, Christopher Davis, Marco Loud, Peter Gaines, Tori Robinson, Darius Robinson, Kevin Hicks, Mary Trusillo, DeMarcus Seymour, Willie Tillman, Terrell Thomas, Seville Smith, Terrence Crutcher, Paul O'Neill, Alteria Woods, Jordan Edwards, Aaron Bailey, Ronell Foster, Stephen Clark, Antoine Rose II, Botham Jean, Pamela Turner, Dominique Clayton, Atiana Jefferson, Christopher Whitfield, Christopher McCorvey, Eric Reason, Michael Lorenzo Dean, Breonna Taylor. So I thought, like I said, I thought it was appropriate to honor that and to recognize that. I thought that was one of the most powerful passages in the book. Highly recommend that you pick up Long Time Coming, Reckoning with Race in America. It's really good. This is the first book of Michael Eric Dyson's that I have read. It will not be the last, and I will not say that I enjoyed reading this, but I learned a lot from this and felt it was very worthwhile. The second book that I read this week, I'm going to count this as a book that I've read this week because I am almost finished, is Joe Biden, The Life, The Run, and What Matters Now by Evan Osnos. Evan Osnos is a reporter for The New Yorker. So far, and I'm going to, like I said, I'm going to count this as a book that I read in February. I am almost finished it. It's very short. It's 77 pages. I'm on page 77. And it is 170 with the acknowledgments. So, there's. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be finishing this today or this evening. Like I said, so far this is fine. It's a fine book. It does take into account Biden's shortcomings and his faults. It's not a complete praiseworthy look at him, but I think that if you have followed Joe Biden over the years, you know his story, you know pretty much everything that's in this book. I think there's a few things that I had not known in this, but I think that like I said, it's a fine book. Not gonna fault it. It does read very much like a New Yorker article. Like I said, it's very, very thin. There's not much there. And so, yeah. So those were the two books that I finished this week. I also had the chance to talk with my good friend Rachel Cole. She is the author of a new book called Choose Happiness. I talked about this last week. And we filmed on Wednesday. We filmed an author chat for my channel, and I will be premiering that sometime this week. I'm not quite sure when, probably Wednesday or something like that. I just filmed an introductory video for her for the book, but I'm hoping that you'll tune in and listen to me interview her about choosing happiness, how we can choose more of it for our own lives and for the people around us. So definitely well worth the read. I also, a couple other books to show you that our library opened for browsing this week, which was so awesome. As some of you may know, I work at the library, and even staff members, I'm not a librarian, but I work at the library. But as some of you, so it was really great to be able to browse. We have not, as staff members, been able to browse during the time that our library has been closed, and so we've been reopening for on a kind of a limited basis. So I was able to pick up a few more things. First one I got was Homesick for Another World by Ottessa and Moshfegh. This is a collection of short stories. I have not read anything by Ottessa and Moshfegh, and I know that other people really enjoy her work, particularly Jaden at the Bar and the Bookcase. I love his channel. I will link it below in the show notes in case you haven't had a chance to check him out. And I'm not sure whether this is like a good one to start with if you're new to Ottessa Moshfegh's work, but I thought I would give that a try. So there is that. Oops, oh, it fell. Also, got In the Dream House by Carmen Marie Machado, and I have been looking forward to reading this. I will say that because I've heard such great things about this, that this is a really powerful book. And I did read Her Body in Other Parties, her short story collection. Was not really quite a fan. I think I did give it 3 stars, 3.5 maybe. So I have good thoughts, good hopes for this one. Second book that I picked up, this was a bestseller, Stacey Abrams, Our Time Is Now. This is one of our bestseller books, so I only have this for 3 weeks without any renewals, so I'm hoping I get to this in time. And then finally, I picked up The Prophets by Robert Jones Jr. This one, I don't have to tell much about this because it's been all over BookTube and all over. Everyone who has read it has just raved about it, so I'm really excited to get to this very, very soon. With that, I also am kind of also conscious that there is so many readathons and events happening in BookTube during the month of March, and I have severe severe FOMO, and I really don't want to miss out on any of them. But the reality is that unless I just stop my entire life altogether, that I'm gonna have to not participate in some readathons, or not to the degree that I wanted to. So anyway, but here, let me get the books that I'm thinking about. So of course, I have to finish up my BookTube spin book. That is Dreyer's English by Benjamin Dreyer, An Utterly Correct Guide to Clarity and Style. This is a book, it has not been on my shelves very long. It was part of the books that I got from Keely from her 800 subscriber giveaway, but it is my BookTube spin prize. Sorry, that I picked. So there is that to get to. So for March of the Mammoths, I'm thinking that I'm going to go with 2 possibilities. I'm in the middle, well, not even anywhere near the middle. I'm only on page 117 of A Promised Land by Barack Obama. I'm well aware that this falls under the required page count of 800 pages, and quite honestly, I don't have too many books on my shelves that are 800 pages or more, but I do want to finish this. I'm listening to it on audio now. I only have that for about another maybe 2 weeks or so from the library. The audio is great. Obama narrates it, and that's awesome. So I may consider this as my mammoth book. We'll see if that is the case. My other possibility for a mammoth is the complete works of William Shakespeare. Now, let's be real. I have no anticipation that I'm going to finish all of Shakespeare's works in March. That's just kind of ludicrous. But this book has been sitting on my shelves for probably close to probably a year and a half now. I picked it up at a book sale that Half Price Books was having. You can see the price tag there. It was $2 for the entire complete works of Shakespeare. I mean, like, how could I not, you know? So I figured, and I'm also probably not going to even be able to hold this book. So I figured I would maybe download the different plays and from the library and read them, but there's no way I'm going to finish this, but I am hoping to start it, so that will be another mammoth book. Anyway, there is also March Mystery Madness. I have 2 titles for that. I am not much of a mystery reader, but I'm trying to be more of one. So I'm thinking of My Cousin Rachel by Daphne du Maurier, and that would serve the prompt for a person, for both for cousin and I guess for Rachel, and also thinking about another Daphne du Maurier book from my shelves, The House on the Strand. Picked this up about like a month or so ago, maybe 2 months ago, also from Half Price Books, completely not noticing that there was like these marks on the cover. Like, what was I thinking? I mean, I don't know how I missed that, but apparently I did, and thought it was worth $3, which was, ridiculous with being in that condition. So, yeah. And so finally, I'm also going to participate in the Irish readathon, and my book is, and I love this one because it is, I know the hosts say that if you just finish one book during the Irish readathon, then you've done the readathon, so that's great. This is for the prompt with green on the cover, and this is Remember to Forget Me by Kerry Neville. Kerry is also a friend of mine, and this is a short story collection. I've only finished one of the short stories in it, so I'd like to be able to finish that for the Irish readathon. I am not much of a middle grade reader, so I'm probably not going to participate in that one. And the only other book readathon event that I'm thinking about doing, that I'm probably going to do, is next Sunday, March the 7th, is a readathon that's being hosted, I can't quite remember who, but I have a link below, and it is for International Women's Day, which is actually March 8th, but the readathon is being held on the 7th from midnight to midnight, regardless of whatever time that is in your part of the world. And yeah, so I don't know what I'm going to be reading for that at that point. So anyway, again, that is the Sunday Salon. I didn't think I had that much to talk about, but I guess I do. And I hope you are all doing well. Hope everything is good in your part of the world. And thanks again for joining me. And I look forward to talking to you again in one of my videos real soon. Thanks. Bye.